Meet Maria, a hard-working waitress just like so many others, spending long hours behind the counter, serving meals and keeping the peace. But Maria isn't your average waitress. Behind the smile, there's a fire burning inside her, a passion, a deep desire for change that goes far beyond the tip jar. Every shift, every customer she serves, she's dreaming of something bigger, something better for her country. She's not just counting plates or delivering orders. She's counting the days until she can see a shift in the way things work, the way the government works. And it's not just about her. It's about her future, her child's future, and the future of a nation she believes can do so much more. She's been watching, listening, and studying, and she's found the answer she's been waiting for. Vivek Ramaswamy, a visionary with the courage to challenge the system. His push for government efficiency, his belief that the bureaucracy can be better, faster, and more accountable. This is the change Maria believes in. But here's the thing. Speaking up about what you believe, especially in a world where most people keep their opinions to themselves, can come with consequences. And Maria? Well, she's about to find out just how costly speaking her mind can be. It started out as just another shift, until one question from a curious customer would turn Maria's world upside down. The customer asked, "So, what do you think about the upcoming election?" And just like that, Maria's passion for change spilled out, unfiltered, unapologetic. She spoke about Vivek Ramaswamy, his vision for government reform, and how he could be the leader the country desperately needed. She wasn't just talking about policy, she was talking about a revolution, a chance to make things better, faster, more efficient. A future where bureaucracy wouldn't stand in the way of progress. She was so sure that this was the solution, it practically lit up her eyes. But what Maria didn't know was that her words didn't just land on the customer's ears. No. A coworker overheard, and before long, word was spreading like wildfire. What started as a casual conversation became a heated topic. Some nodded in agreement. Maybe they too were tired of the status quo. Others, however, didn't see it the same way. They were uncomfortable, even angry. "How dare she talk about politics in the workplace?" they muttered. And the whispers didn't stop there. Soon the whispers reached the boss's ears. A complaint was made. A decision was coming. But this time, it wasn't about who had the best tips or who worked the hardest. It was about Maria's voice, her opinion. And for the first time, that voice would cost her. It didn't take long for Maria's words to catch up with her. The storm she had unknowingly sparked was about to reach its boiling point. The manager, someone who had always been friendly, professional, now seemed cold, distant. There was tension in the air as he pulled Maria aside, his expression unreadable. He leaned in, speaking in a low, almost forced tone. "Maria," he began, "I know you mean well, but you can't be talking about politics like that here. You've got to understand, it's a sensitive topic. The customers, they don't like it. We can't have this kind of conversation in the workplace." But Maria wasn't backing down. She believed in what she was saying. She believed in the power of change. She defended herself, told him she had every right to speak her mind. After all, isn't that what democracy is all about? She wasn't rude, she wasn't loud, but the manager's face grew tighter, his patience thinner. "It's not about what you believe," he said, his voice colder now. "It's about maintaining peace here. And right now your beliefs are stirring up trouble. We can't have that." Maria's heart sank as the words hit her like a punch. She stood there, in shock, as he continued. "I'm afraid we're going to have to let you go. Company policy? It's about neutrality. No room for controversial discussions." The room seemed to freeze. For a moment, it felt like time had stopped. Maria's hands shook as she gathered her things, her mind racing, trying to process the injustice of it all for standing up for what she believed in, all for sharing her thoughts on a leader who could actually make a difference. But that was the decision. And in that moment, Maria knew this wasn't just about losing her job. It was about something bigger, something far more dangerous. Her right to speak up had just been silenced. Maria walked out of that restaurant, but the weight of what had just happened didn't lift. In fact, it felt like a chain had been wrapped around her. Tight, suffocating, fired. For speaking her mind. For supporting a candidate she truly believed could change the country. Her heart raced with frustration, with anger, but most of all with disbelief. How could this be happening? All she did was share her thoughts on the future. Yet here she was, out of a job. But Maria wasn't the only one who was angry. As we reflect on Maria's journey, it's hard not to feel the weight of the lesson she taught us all. And it went viral. Her story isn't just about a waitress and a politician. It's about something deeper, something fundamental. It's about the power of standing up for what you believe in, even when the world around you tells you to stay quiet. Even when the consequences seem too heavy to bear, they weren't staying silent. Think about it for a moment. They flooded online platforms. Maria didn't have to speak up. She could have kept her views to herself, played it safe, and never stirred the pot. Crossed a line, they said. But she chose not to. What happened to free speech? She chose to speak her truth, even when it wasn't the popular choice. Without fear of retaliation. And yes, it cost her. It cost her a job, was a private conversation, and for a time, her peace of mind. Of free expression. But in that moment of adversity, something who had never met her started reaching out. Her voice was heard. To stand strong. Not just by a few, but by thousands, by people who saw her as a symbol of courage in a world that often demands silence. For all those who felt silenced. And slowly the tide began to turn. Up would cost them everything. She became an inspiration to countless others who were feeling the same pressure. It belonged to the same stifling of their opinions. To keep quiet. The power of her decision rippled through the hearts of those who believed in free speech, had become more intolerance, than just a fired waitress, in the right to speak out without fear. The voice of a movement. And it didn't stop there. Story continued to echo through Maria didn't just fight for her voice; she fought for all of ours. The attention of someone. Her story proved something crucial. That we can make a difference, that we can challenge the status quo, question authority, and speak out, even when the odds seem stacked against us. We need more people like Maria. We need more people willing to stand up and say, this is what I believe in, and I will not be silenced. This wasn't just an isolated case. Because it's not just about one person. It's about the future. Free speech. It's about the world we want to create. Speak your mind without fear of retribution. A world where free speech is not a privilege but a right. Vivek took to social media, a world where tolerance for differing opinions is embraced, not rejected. He said, should not a world where every voice, no matter how unpopular, is heard. It's time we embrace tolerance. The truth is, change doesn't come from silence. For our right to speak change comes from those brave enough to speak out, including our workplaces. It comes from the ones who dare to question the system and demand better. He knew this wasn't. It comes from you and me, people willing to risk it all for a cause we believe in. And so, in a move that stunned the nation, what can you do? Offered Maria a chance to join. You don't have to be a politician or a public figure to make a difference. As a supporter, but as a you don't need to have a platform or a title. A representative. All it takes is the courage to speak your truth, to engage in the conversations that matter, even when they're uncomfortable. To challenge the ideas that hold us back, to support those who are fighting for change, even when it feels like the world is against them. And if you ever find yourself in a moment like Maria's, when your voice is threatened, when your beliefs are tested, remember this. No matter the challenge, standing by what's right can lead to a brighter future. But now, thanks to Vivek, you have the power to be part of that change, to create a world where free speech is cherished, and where those who dare to speak up are celebrated, not silenced. So ask yourself this: as the days what will you do when the time comes? Will you stay silent, or will you stand up for what you believe in? The world Maria had once known, small, quiet, routine, began to change. The flood of support, the outpouring of messages, it all made her realize something she hadn't seen before. She wasn't alone. She wasn't just that waitress who had spoken her mind. She was now a part of something bigger, a movement. With Vivek Ramaswamy's offer and the public's backing, Maria felt a surge of empowerment that she had never known. She wasn't just a victim of canceled culture anymore. She was a symbol of resistance, a beacon for those who had been silenced, for those who felt their voices didn't matter. And so Maria made a decision that would change the course of her life. She would no longer work in a job that held her back, that punished her for being vocal about her beliefs. She took the leap into a new career, one that aligned with her values and passions. Perhaps in politics, perhaps in public service. But whatever it was, she knew it would be a chance to make a difference. Maria's emotional journey wasn't just about finding a new career. It was about finding her voice, her strength. She thought back to those dark moments when the injustice felt unbearable, and realize something powerful. Standing up for what you believe in can change not just your world, but the world around you. In a heartfelt post, Maria thanked Vivek Ramaswamy. "You didn't just offer me a job," she wrote. "You offered me a chance to be a part of something bigger than myself. A chance to keep speaking even when it's hard. Thank you for believing in me when others didn't." Her story didn't just end with her. It echoed far and wide, inspiring others to have the courage to speak up, to stand tall, and to never back down from what they believe is right. As we reflect on Maria's journey, it's hard not to feel the weight of the lesson she taught us all. Her story isn't just about a waitress and a politician. It's about something deeper, something fundamental. It's about the power of standing up for what you believe in, even when the world around you tells you to stay quiet. Even when the consequences seem too heavy to bear. Think about it for a moment. Maria didn't have to speak up. She could have kept her views to herself, played it safe, and never stirred the pot. But she chose not to. She chose to speak her truth, even when it wasn't the popular choice. And yes, it cost her. It cost her a job, her security, and for a time, her peace of mind. But in that moment of adversity, something incredible happened. Her voice was heard. Not just by a few, but by thousands, by people who saw her as a symbol of courage in a world that often demands silence. And slowly the tide began to turn. She became an inspiration to countless others who were feeling the same pressure, the same stifling of their opinions. The power of her decision rippled through the hearts of those who believed in free speech, in tolerance, in the right to speak out without fear. And it didn't stop there. Maria didn't just fight for her voice, she fought for all of ours. Her story proved something crucial, that we can make a difference, that we can challenge the status quo, question authority, and speak out, even when the odds seem stacked against us. We need more people like Maria. We need more people willing to stand up and say, "This is what I believe in, and I will not be silenced." Because it's not just about one person. It's about the future. It's about the world we want to create. A world where free speech is not a privilege, but a right. A world where tolerance for differing opinions is embraced, not rejected. A world where every voice, no matter how unpopular, is heard. The truth is, change doesn't come from silence. Change comes from those brave enough to speak out. It comes from the ones who dare to question the system and demand better. It comes from you and me, people willing to risk it all for a cause we believe in. So, what can you do? You don't have to be a politician or a public figure to make a difference. You don't need to have a platform or a title. All it takes is the courage to speak your truth, to engage in the conversations that matter even when they're uncomfortable, to challenge the ideas that hold us back, to support those who are fighting for change even when it feels like the world is against them. And if you ever find yourself in a moment like Maria's, when your voice is threatened, when your beliefs are tested, remember this. No matter the challenge, standing by what's right can lead to a brighter future. You have the power to be part of that change, to create a world where free speech is cherished and where those who dare to speak up are celebrated, not silenced. So ask yourself this: what will you do when the time comes? Will you stay silent or will you stand up for what you believe in?